Are you rolling?
Yep.
All right, guys, 5 seconds. Just wanted to let you know the Custom Offsets is offering as low as 0% financing on everything at CustomOffsets.com. Wheels, tires, suspension. Did I get it?
Yep.
When it comes to trucks, if you're anything like all of us here at Custom Offsets, you just can't leave one stock. And I know most of the time before I even buy a new vehicle, I'm already on our gallery looking at what setups will fit and what mods I can do, and then spending countless hours on YouTube searching best exhaust for Ford Raptor. So I'm Fuller from Custom Offsets, and these are the first mods that I would do to my new truck. So right off the bat, we can't kick this off with a supercharger, tune, exhaust, cam, regear, a custom wrap, and so on, because if you just bought a new vehicle, you likely aren't interested in dropping that much cash after you just spent 60 grand on a new or new to you used truck. Hands down, the first thing I do to all my vehicles, even the beaters, is tint. And you might be wondering why. Well, because it's cheap, it looks good, and even just tint can make a truck look more aggressive or stylish or just simply clean. Most places can get you a complete tint job for around $200, and if it's just the front two windows, that'll run less than $100. Now, depending on your state, you likely have different laws on tint, but in general, most people can get away with about 20% on the side windows and in the rear. In full disclosure, that's not legal in most states though. Like here in Wisconsin, you can only have 50% on the driver and passenger, 35% on the back seat windows, and then 50% on the rear glass if I remember correctly. And 50% tint is like not dark at all. Like I wouldn't even waste my money on it. Some people tint their windshield also, and that'll add a substantial cost to your bill since that's a lot of material, but just be aware that it sucks to drive at night, and I don't believe it's legal in any state. If you're looking for tint, make sure whoever installs it is a professional and uses professional grade tint, because quality tints won't turn purple over time and they serve more than one purpose. So 1, it looks good, 2, people can't see you picking your nose, and 3, it helps keep a lot of the heat out when the sun is beating down on your car, which not only makes it more comfortable for you, but will also protect your interior from cracks or drying out if you've got leather. And lastly, it just makes driving in the sun so much better if you spend a lot of time on the roads like I do. So the second thing on the list for me is suspension, and now this can get pretty expensive depending on the route you go. You may want a $200 leveling kit or $6,000 coilover lift or anything in between. So depending on the size, you might want to be thinking about wheels and tires here too, but we'll dive into that a little bit later. Suspension is one of those mods where it's pretty much required if you want to run larger than OEM wheel and tire sizes. If you bought your 20x12s and 35s first, you wouldn't even be able to install them on your Silverado till you get a 7-inch lift. But if you bought some 8.5 wide methods and 33s, you might be able to stuff those on a stock truck and deal with a bunch of rubbing for 2 weeks until you get your next paycheck. Since I abuse the shit out of everything I own, when I'm shopping for suspension, I'm looking for something that will perform well, not just look well, but that's not the case for everyone. There's a bunch of good size kits out there on our website for about $1,000 that would work just fine for about 90% of people, but it comes down to personal preference and how much and where you drive your truck. If you spend 100% of your time on road and you drive 10 minutes to the city to get to your job, then a spacer lift will work just fine for you. If you spend a lot of time on the highway, you might opt for a complete strut replacement, and if you enjoy off-roading on the weekends, a coilover might be a better setup for you. Either way, we've got all of that on the website, and we have the gallery set up so you can just search by make and model, enter in the suspension size, and you can get an idea of what your truck will look like once it's finished. So the next step then is wheels and tires. These happen at the same time because it's much easier to pick up a new package than to buy just wheels. In fact, there's only been one time in my life where I bought just wheels, and it was only because I found a smoking deal on a set on Craigslist. So as I mentioned before, I would go with suspension before wheels and tires, and I'll explain that a bit more. It primarily has to do with making things fit. Like I was saying, if you have plans to do 20x12s and 35s, I don't know of any standard truck out there that can fit these stock. There are definitely trucks that can fit 35s on OEM wheels, like the Ford Raptor and whatever Ram is making. I think they call it the Rebel. But you wouldn't be able to pull that off on like a 12-wide -44 offset. So rather than picking up a new wheel and tire package and then stacking it in your garage to collect dust while you save up for the lift kit that you need, I'd suggest getting suspension first. When it comes down to picking out the actual wheels and tires you want, there's almost too many choices. On our website alone, we offer over 1 million different combinations, and you can custom build any package you want and we'll ship it right to you. I'd always start with the gallery to figure out what size I need, then search by make and model so I know they have the correct bolt pattern, and then filter by size and start scrolling. Once I find the set of wheels that I want, I'll start my search for tires. Now, I've been doing this long enough that I have my favorites, but I'd say the most common tire we sell overall is the Nitto Ridge Grappler, which is a hybrid tire that combines the best of the mud tire and all-terrain tire market. If you want a true mud tire, lots of people opt for the Open Country MT, and if you want a less aggressive tire, the options broaden a bit, and you have things like the Falcon Wild Peak AT3W, the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack, Nitto Terra Grapplers, or the Otero Trailblade XT, which is really just super popular because of the price point. There's a lot of brands out there some of you may not have heard of, but the good thing is we have videos on just about every tire we carry on our YouTube channel. Once you've got the outside dialed in exactly how you want it, you're probably going to notice a power loss and a loss of some miles per gallon too. So the next thing that I would tackle would be some performance stuff. Now, depending on your budget, this could vary a lot, but I think I would recommend a tune to everyone. Gas or diesel, doesn't matter. You can see improvements on both. There's plenty of tuners out there, but it's important to do your research and get a reputable shop or remote tuner to do your truck because blowing up cars isn't fun. Trust me, I know. Ask me what 27 or 28 pounds of boost does on my drift car. Anyway, a tune is a great start if you don't have plans on adding any forced induction or opening up the motor at all. If you're gonna do any of that stuff, obviously you'd need a tune after that as well. There's also a ton of people on our social media who ask about regearing, and it's actually not something that a whole lot of people do because it's pretty pricey. If you need some acceleration back and you want to turn your big wheels and tires a bit more efficiently, then you should look into regearing, but it's not required. If you've got a boatload of cash saved up to do it all at once, that's super cool and good for you, but if you don't, we do also offer monthly payments on just about everything on our site too. So remember, we are Custom Offsets and we are self-proclaimed experts on everything wheels, tires, and suspension, and this is the part where I tell you to come up to our website and check it all out. It's customoffsets.com or just check the links in the description. Peace.